Welcome to Raw Take, the lifeline to your unfiltered media experience. Tonight, I'm your host, Archie, and we got a special show for you guys tonight. We have a special guest that I'm proud to present. He is my pastor of Living God, non-denominational church. We have Pastor Reese Williams in the house tonight. Pastor, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. Um, so, before we get into the show, tell us a little bit something about yourself, Pastor.
Well, I've been pastoring Living God, non-denominational church for 24 years. Uh, Before that, I was in school for theology. Um, and before that, I worked as a manager at a job for 25 years. So I can truly say that God's been good to me.
All right, all right. And not that I didn't know all that, guys. Already, he is my pastor. Very, very great man of God, and I'm proud to have him on our show tonight. Um, so, before we get into the topic tonight, you guys on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on any uploads. And also, you can find us anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Um, so tonight we're going to be talking about the 700 Club that you all, I'm sure, are very familiar with, which is a Christian broadcast network. Uh, Seem to have been very, very, very against the budget bill that's spearheaded by Bernie Sanders.
Of crippling spending that could destroy this great country, leaving it in shambles for our children and grandchildren. President Biden's $3.5 trillion budget plan, led by socialist Bernie Sanders, has passed the Senate. So what now? There's more coming. It can get as high as $7 trillion. Here's Gary Lane.
Pat, last night, Democrats pushed through the framework for a huge $3.5 trillion budget.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 49, and the concurrent resolution as amended is agreed to.
That measure passed on a strictly party line vote. Will all Democrats support it? Well, Republicans were against it. All Democrats supported it. One Republican senator was absent. Democrats and the president say the budget led by Democrat socialist Bernie Sanders will help families fight climate change and create jobs. Democrats also pledging to pay for it with new taxes and offsets. But the blueprint assumes hundreds of billions in deficits over the next 10 years. Republicans say it will waste money, hurt the economy with high taxes, fuel inflation, and put into place far-left mandates that will hurt Americans. The House will take up the budget plan in 2 weeks. Pat?
Gary, is anything can be done to stop this thing? I know Lindsey Graham apparently has COVID, and he wasn't there to vote. But what do you think?
Pat, it doesn't matter if Lindsey Graham is there or not because the Democrats have the votes. Now, the only one that may stand in the way of that is Senator Manchin of West Virginia. He already has raised some concerns about this massive spending. But when push comes to shove, it always seems like the Democrats come through and stick together as a party. I don't think there's much that can be done about this. Of course, it's not a budget that has been approved yet. When the House returns in 2 weeks, it's just the framework that they'll be looking at. And then it will go to committees, and we'll see if it works its way through the committees, but it likely will, probably in the late fall, maybe by Christmas.
Gary, can you give us a few of the salient horror stories that are embedded in this terrible budget?
Well, Pat, one thing they want to do is expand Medicare. That was something that Sanders always wanted. His thumbprints are all over this legislation, proposed legislation. Universal pre-K, child care, community college, elder care. Of course, they've always talked about doing away with student loans. But when it comes to Medicare, they want to lower the age. They want to expand it to include things like eye care, dental care, so forth. And in addition to that, Pat, one big thing on Sanders' list has been paid family medical leave. Now, right now, you can leave, take family leave and go for 12 weeks, I guess, and still come back to the same position that you had on the job, but it's not paid. Imagine paying people for not being productive. Small businesses will not be able to afford that. You combine that with increases in the minimum wage, they'll be shutting their doors.
Well, it looks like Bernie Sanders is a socialist. Actually, he spent his honeymoon in Moscow, so you really call him a communist. But it looks like the left, the so-called squad with AOC and Bernie Sanders, are pretty much running the government right now. Am I right in that?
Well, they're definitely running the Democratic Party. And just think about it. I mean, Bernie Sanders, if it hadn't been for him backing off in the primary season, Joe Biden wouldn't be president. Bernie Sanders would have run against Trump, and Trump probably would have beat him. And that is what the Democrats were concerned about. So I'm sure they made backroom deals saying, Bernie, look, you back off. We will push through much of your agenda. And part of this agenda is very radical. Climate change, Pat, is also part of that. That's a big thing for Bernie Sanders and AOC. But what can you really do about the climate? I talked to one climatologist earlier this week, and he said, look, they're always, it's really a solution looking for a problem. And he wouldn't spend one dime on it because he doesn't think we're in a climate crisis.
Gary, thank you very much.
All right, so they sound like Republicans. What do you think about what they're saying in this video, being that they're a Christian broadcast network that seems to be against people getting the help that they need?
Well, I believe whether we be Democratic or Republican, I believe that Christianity should take first priority. So we should live according to what's pleasing to God first. So, and that is for us to help the people. That's what ministry is all about. Ministry is about helping people in need. And we're living in a time now where you have a whole lot of people that's actually in need, and depending on the church, depending on the government to help take care of them.
Yeah, one of the key words that you said just now is the word now, because people need help now. And I heard them say that this bill is going to hurt the economy 10 years from now. It's going to hurt the economy. But there's people should be worried about the now. Our government need to be more solution based than just seeing the problem and just throwing it out like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they should. Because this bill will help a lot of people, but I think the problem is sometimes we get so worried about the people that's going to misuse things, it takes our mind off the people that actually need them. And our job as Christians is to give them, provide the need to the need. So we have to overlook the ones that might misuse it, because you have so many that's hurt. So those are the ones we need to make sure we focus on. And once we do that, I think it'll be okay. But this bill will help a lot of people, because one thing I noticed that you have people that's working, that some of them working and some of them doing good, but you have those who are not working. And the reason why some of them are not working is because they cannot afford to put their children in a daycare or do nothing with their children. So I believe, and we need to start looking at, as ministers, we need to start looking at what we need to do to help the people, and not so much whether we be one party or another party.
Yeah, it seems like they're more focused on, I'm gonna just say, the wrong thing than the fact that there is supposed to be a ministry first. So that is true. If you are in the ministry, if that's your call or your calling or your duty, then you need to do that. And you have to make sure that you don't misrepresent God and godliness, especially being in the public eye, like the 700 Club, because it looks really bad that a Christian broadcast network is against people getting the help from this reconciliation bill. And I want to just say some of the things that was listed in one of the articles and clips that I've seen, that this reconciliation bill that Bernie is pushing for. So one of the things is the expansion of Medicare. He wants to lower the age for Medicare, and I don't, that's something that would really help a lot of
Hmm.
people, because the thing is, everybody needs to have some kind of insurance. And if Medicare become available, because Medicare, it's not like Medicaid.
Hmm.
Medicaid is free to the person.
Hmm.
Medicare still has to be paid for by the policy holder, or whatever you call it, the person that has Medicare. But it's a way that people can get insured and not have to worry about the hassles of like the private insurances that may offer. So I think lowering the age for Medicare is a good thing, not a bad thing.
True. I believe that as well. I don't see nothing bad that can happen from lowering it. Uh, it would help a whole lot of people because once again,
Hmm.
they push for us to always get checkups and go to the doctor, but a person that don't have no type of insurance and cannot afford to get any type of uh, insurance, it's hard for them to get regular checkups. It's hard for them to even go to the doctor because
Hmm.
the money that they use to do that with, they have to use it for to either feed their children or to pay a bill in their household.
Yeah, and another thing, two things is, one is child care as well as elder care. That's also two of the things in there that Bernie is pushing for in this bill. And as you just said, a lot of people can't do this or can't do that because they have child care. I mean, they can't afford the child care.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like all of these things will work together. And child care is very expensive.
That's true.
It's expensive. It's not cheap. And if you don't have, and if you have a child, you have to have insurance. And then on top of that, you have the elderly. It just seemed like the Christian organization definitely would be for helping elders. All the
Mhm.
government helping the elders as well as the children. Because the thing is, you can't just not help the elders and wait for them to die. And then so you won't have to give that help. I mean, it seemed like that's kind of how it is. Just let them die. Then what? The money that's proposed, someone gets to keep that and pocket that.
That's true, and I believe we need to stick to what we teach. If we teach our people about giving, we need to stick to what we teach because giving don't only go for the people that set up under a ministry, but giving is for each and every one, even the people that's over the ministry. And that's something we have
Yeah.
to do because right now, where I see things happening is that you have families that have been had setbacks because of they have lost a loved one, and some have lost loved ones who was the provider, and
Hmm.
now they're trying to provide off what they have, but at the same time, Biden having children, and with childcare being so expensive, it's hard for them to afford to put their children in daycares. So it will be a help. It will be a big blessing for the for Bernie Sanders to be able to pass this bill, because I think a lot of people will be helped from it. With the way things going right now, because we cannot feel or experience if we haven't went through the things that people are feeling and experiencing at this time. So I think now's the time we need to look more so at the need of other people, other than looking at what's best for us.
Yeah, that's another key thing. People, especially like the Republican Party, I was talking to Gion earlier today and yesterday too, and a couple other people about the whole money circle
Hmm.
that exists now within the government, within the corporations, and the people now that the money circle's been established, it's like the me and you, we don't matter anymore. Our money don't matter anymore. We've already built up that money circle for them, because this money circle that I'm talking about wasn't built by the people who are in it. It was built by us. And so a lot of the things that they even have, the system has us paying is things that we've already paid. Um, like when you finance something, you're paying you finance something, it's paid for with money that we put into the system, but then we still got to pay that back. So it's crazy how that whole money circle. Now that we're not a part of that money circle, we don't matter. Our health doesn't matter. Our children doesn't matter. Um, and even some of our dollars now don't matter as much as they did before this money circle was established. And so now getting people what they need, doing this and that for the people, don't seem to be in the best interest of our system, our government, or part of it anyway, should I say? Because we know that the Republican Party not trying to help people.
Yeah,
They got theirs, you get yours, however you see fit.
true, true that. I can kind of understand the government's problem with not wanting to support, but those who do want to support, I cannot understand the ministry not wanting to support, especially when you have elderly people that have to choose between eating and having their prescription filled.
Yeah,
And that's what really breaks my heart when I see elderly people, that they don't get a fair take at nothing. It's like we kind of throw them to the side when they the ones who need the majority of help. So with that bill in place, if they would lower the price of prescriptions, that would help the elderly people put more of their finances into feeding their families other than
yeah,
medicine. So I think that would be a great thing. And like I said, once again, the ministry, we should never want to take away from what's right for giving the people. And this should be something God has instilled within us. If we say we love the Lord, and if we say we are children of God, our main priority should be to be a blessing to somebody who are less fortunate than we are. Not
absolutely.
to just say, well, I'm going to get mine, you get yours. But hey, I need to reach out and be able to help somebody else. Because
Yeah.
that's what ministry is all about, is being a help.
Hmm.
So I think we're in a time now where everybody needs to just kind of like look out for other people. Because once again, like I said, we have people that's hurting. And now that
Yeah.
the pandemic have flared back up, you have a lot of people that's still losing loved ones. Uh,
Hmm.
that's still wondering how they're going to survive, especially when the main breadwinner of the house died from COVID or whatever it
Hmm.
may be. So I think the ministry need to be for the things that's going to help the people. You know.
Yeah. Um, that's absolutely right. If we're in the ministry, and I mean, I could be corrected if I'm wrong in the comments, I'll pass to you. But the last time I checked, the 700 Club is supposed to be a Christian organization, but some of those organizations are just posing as Christians,
Yeah.
because Christianity shows within your actions, not so much as your words, but within your actions. Now, however, if you're Christian, then your words should also line up with Christianity, but your action does speak louder than words. And if your actions, if your words say, but also because what's in your heart does come out your mouth as well. And so if your words say that you're not for this and for that, you're not even for helping people, then what does that really say about the Christianity that you're claiming to be a part of? Um, we have to we have to follow the example that, I mean, because what if Jesus had done that? What if he had said, well, I'm Jesus, so you get yours the best way you know how.
Yeah.
Then
Hmm.
what? You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
we'd be in
That's true.
trouble.
And that should be our example. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
love that we have, that same love that Jesus had for us.
Yep.
It's a love that we should have for the people that's in need. It's that same love because once again, if we take away the finance, all of us headed down a road where we either gonna live or we're gonna die. And one thing for sure that at the end of this life and death. And if Jesus didn't love us so much, he wouldn't have given us the opportunity to make that choice of whether we want to be saved or whether we want to just die and go to hell. But he gave us a choice, so we can make that. But I think sometimes the ministries forget that what's important. Once we get to a certain level in our own life, we'll forget what's important and what's needed for the people, and we start focusing on more so what was going to please the other side, and that's what something we cannot do. We don't even stand for something, if we don't. But if we choose to stand, the problem is we're going to be disliked by the other parties and some more people. So that's the problem we have now. Then the only person that we should be worried about pleasing right now is God himself.
Yeah.
Because when it push comes to shove, when all is said and done, everything we do in this life, and I think that's another thing we have to remember, we got to give an answer for it. And that's going to be a time in our life where we want to make sure that we did what we need to do for God's people, because it's very important. But I see, it's like I say, it's a lot of stuff I've seen in the bill. The dental, for instance, dental is so expensive, and a lot of people don't have it. And dental also play a very important part of your health. So it's why a lot of people get sick because of their need for dental as well. So and then housing, because you got a lot of people that can't afford to even get a place to live. So with that said, I mean, the ministry, if I see something like that taking place, my main thing is, hey, let's reach out and help and see what we can do to make their life just a little bit more comfortable, because, God has blessed us, so let's bless them.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be solution based. If we don't have a solution, or you're not going to contribute to coming up with a solution, then you need to shut up. It's not time to be making a mockery of something that's going to help people. We need to focus on the now. That's what's important. The now, not 10 years from now, because only God knows what's going to happen 10 years from now. And another one of the things that they mentioned, that's mentioned in the bill, is paid FMLA, which is a family leave act. And it's true now that you can take off 12 weeks or whatever, and it's unpaid. Now, one thing that like the guy, he was saying that you imagine paying someone for being unproductive. I think that that should be because that's a way to come up with a solution. Because yes, we do know, and I believe that it could hurt like the smaller businesses, but that's why we have all of this money. Instead of giving this money to the rich, we need to help the small companies, help these small companies, so that they can, because the big companies they can offer the paid FMLA. And I don't think that if you take off work because maybe of a pregnancy, or whatever the reason may be, but because you have to take the FMLA, you take that, then you being off don't stop the show. So, and if it's a small company that you being off would possibly hurt them because they're having to pay you because you have a direct part in their financial intake, then that's where the government should step in and say, hey, here's the money. They're giving it to the big corporations and they don't even need it. But the small businesses that does need it, they don't want to give them the money, and they're the ones that need it. This country this government system is all about helping the ones that don't need help, and the ones that need help just have to suffer. And we need to. I think the one and only true way we can really get away from that is by following the word of God. There's no other way. Because man's way, we've been doing it like that for years, and look where that's getting us. Nowhere.
True. That's true. That's true. If we follow the word of God, we'll be better. I recall the scripture said, anyone have the material possessions in this world and see his brother in need. It let us know that guess what, we should have compassion on them and turn to them and try to help them.
Yeah.
That's something that we should do because that's our brother. But the government, as far as the rich being richer, that's probably going to continue. But at the same time, it's also good to see somebody stepping up to the plate and trying to get a bill passed that will be a help to the people.
Yeah.
And with that said, I believe the ministries need to catch on and stop worrying about the party and just know we serve God and we're here to help the people. And that's because that's the main thing. So because this bill is very important
It
to
is.
the people. There's a lot of things in the bill that would help even our college students. It would help them
Yeah.
to
Efficient for free tuition. Yeah.
because it's pitiful. You got a person that's go to college and come out of college and they have a $70,000 to $80,000 loan that to pay back if they just not came out rich and to pay the whole thing off.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to help them as well. So like I said, I see a lot of good in it, but like I said, and far as the rest of the bill about people being paid that take off, it is a way to fix that.
Yeah.
I recall this company, I think it was a restaurant that all during the year of 2020 during COVID, he kept his people on staff by paying them. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Hmm.
And that was a good thing. So if he can do that, I think that it is a way to do that. I mean, and I understand that the small businesses will hurt because small businesses cannot pay as much out as a big corporation, but at the same time, they could put stimulations on certain things and allow that to help the small businesses where, something will be done where the small businesses can receive some help for them to be able to pay their people. So,
Yeah.
So there's some things that can be done.
Absolutely. And early on in the pandemic, when we got I forgot how much it was. I think it was like 1.6 trillion. Or I may be wrong with that number, but they were giving just billions of dollars to big corporations that didn't need it. Corporations like Amazon got, I think $50 billion or something like that. They didn't need the money. They were already capitalizing on the pandemic. They made billions of dollars off the pandemic, and it still is making money off of it. And a lot of the small businesses close their doors.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? Because the money circle that I mentioned earlier, the small businesses they're not in that money circle. So what they do or don't do doesn't matter. But where all the big money is, they're keeping it locked and tight. You can't get in. You can't get in it unless I guess sell yourself soul to the devil or something. I don't know, but um, if you're a Christian, then like you said, Pastor, your the first thing you should be focused on besides pleasing God, and when you do things that help people, you are pleasing God because that's what He told you to do. That's what Jesus did, and He led by example. So that's what we're supposed to do. So you can't be a Christian organization and be against people getting the help that they need. Because the thing is, you can't be a Christian with the mindset that if it don't affect me, I don't care about it. It don't work like that.
That's true. It's true. Because it's right for us, to have a heart that would continue to give to others. That's what we should have. That heart to continue to give to others. And when we give to others, we please God with our actions, because that's what God wants us to do.
Yeah.
It shows us being true Christians. But we also have to remember every Christian organization that carries the name Christian organization don't mean that they are a Christian organization at all.
That's right.
So we have to understand that. The scriptures let us know that we're going to have a lot of false prophets and false people coming. So we have to just prepare for that, because we know that everybody that said he is a Christian is not a Christian. Because we got to help the people, even though we know everybody's not going to do the right thing and he's going to put money in their hand. But you cannot neglect to give them the help they need because of that, because there are people that's truly hurting, that really need somebody to do something to get them out. And they're stressful, they're stressful, they're having all type of health problems because of this, because they don't know where their next dime is coming from, how they're going to pay this bill. Some of them don't even know how they're going to take care of their family, or feed their family. And once again, my biggest simply go out to the elderly people, because if you have worked all your life in this country to have, and now that you got to the age of retirement, it's pitiful that no one don't want to give them more attention that they give them. So with this bill, that will help them, because I believe it's, as I look at them struggle, I have seen families that struggle because they're trying to take care of them themselves, trying to they have to pay when they go to a doctor, they have to pay out of pocket. When they go to the dentist, they have to pay out of pocket. And when a child is sick, they have to pay as well for that. And then they have to decide, okay, I got my medicine versus my health, and which one, my food, the food I'm going to eat, so which one am I going to choose for? And that's sad to see that when we live in a country that is based on in God we trust. So right now, if we trust in God, what we need to do is start trusting in God to lead us in the right direction to help people.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this because it's very important for people that tag the word Christian onto their, I guess, explanation or definition of themselves or whatever. But Christianity is not a title; it's a lifestyle, and it should not be treated as a title. So, and for some of these Christian organizations, it's just part of their title, unfortunately. And what's so bad about this? I was kind of looking at it. This is why I said it was. So it's like they're making a mockery of this bill that would help, and that would help people. They said that Bernie Sanders, they tried to call him a communist.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so who's really? I mean, they're looking more like the socialist, the communist, more than Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is trying to push for a bill to help other people, and and these two guys, the 700 Club, they seem to be only focused on the fact that they don't need that same help. So it seems like it's something absurd to them. I don't get that, and they have the nerve to call him a communist. Also, he was like, "Oh, he spent his honeymoon in Moscow, so you might as well call him a communist."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, this Bernie's trying to push for a bill that's for the people, and if you from the 700 Club, you're against it, then what does that make you?
It's strange that in our ministries, most of us teach giving shall be given unto you. The scriptures saying good measure, pressed down and shaken together and run it over. Shall be given to the bosom. They have received the same thing we teach. It's the same thing we need to live. We say giving shall be given to you. We ask our people to give in ministry, so we have to learn how to be willing to give as well ourselves. And if we are not in a position to give, if Bernie Sanders is coming with a bill that can be a blessing to the people, what we should do is back that bill up. And I
Yeah,
understand about them calling
absolutely.
it communist, but at the same time, whenever you try to do something that's needed and worthwhile, you're gonna always be talked about. That's for sure. But at
Yep.
the same time, once again, I'll say it again: we're only here to please God, and if right is right, wrong is wrong. And if He's trying to do something to help the people that He sees stand in need of help, I think that's a good thing. I really believe that's a good thing to help them out. You know,
Hmm. Yeah, it is. And that what they were saying on on that clip we showed, that is not all Christians. That is not Christians at all.
hmm
Real Christians would not be uh, against people getting the help that they need. Real Christians would be for people getting the help that they need because it's part of our job. So we don't want people to think that, hey, that's what Christians do. They make mockery of something that's going to help us. No, that is not
no,
where we stand at all. Um, because that's not how God made us to be. So this bill is very important. We really need to get this bill. We need to get it passed. And there's a lot of people kicking against this bill. Of course, the Republican Party, they don't want to help anyone, so they're automatically
hmm
kicking against the bill. And so we need to, if you are a real Christian organization, if you are one, a part of one, or if you know of one or some, then try to get them involved. The church needs to get involved. One of the things about politics that I always say, it's always been said that you can't mix Christianity with politics, but to me, that's part of the problem. There's not enough Christians that's politicians. I believe that if real Christians were in these places of position, then then the politics wouldn't be so dirty, and it would stand for the people. So with that being said, churches, we need to get involved, and we need to help bills like this get passed. And this one would be just a start, because there's a lot more that need to be done, but this one would be a start. And so if we can get this bill passed, then that'd be great, because then that means that we can work on some other bills in the future, so that we can give people even more of what we all need, because we all need it. And this bill is not just about the Democrats. This is about everybody. So that's what we need to focus on. It's about everybody. Everybody need help, not just the Democrats. So this is about the people in general. And Pastor, I want to ask you a question. If this bill gets passed, or if it gets rejected, how do you feel like that would really affect the church today?
but well, for the church, as far as whether the bill get passed or not, uh, since our main provider that we depend on is God to take care of us. Um, if it get passed, we'll praise God for it because it's going to help somebody. If they don't pass it, we just have to remember uh, that we serve a God who's able to do all things. Um,
Yeah.
so I believe that uh, as far as affecting the church, it wouldn't directly affect the church, but it could affect some people's members because of their financial status and because of where they stand in life right now. But one thing for sure is whether the bill get passed or not, the church gonna stand. So
Hmm.
I said the true church gonna stand, and I do believe as pastors we need to do what we can to help everyone in our congregation as well as some of the people that's not to be able to receive some of the things they need
Hmm.
because we are a ministry of help and that's what we should be looking out for other people more so than looking out for ourselves. So that's where I see the church, still gonna stand.
Mm-hmm.
We hope we get past, but we need to make sure everybody know that God is able to take care of us,
Yeah.
and He'll do it the way He want to do it because He's God. Because I must say this, and because sometimes I think some of the biggest problems is we forget where we come from,
Mm.
and that even as leaders we have to always remember where we was, and some of us still need help as leaders. We need help, so we got to remember that. But at the same time, God won't let us down. If the people let us down, we can always depend on God. So I think right now what everybody needs to do is put more of that trust right now in God, because God's will will be done. If it be
Mm-hmm.
God's will that this bill be passed, if it passes, if it be His will that it pass, it will pass, and that's something we have to look at because no one can stop what God has ordained.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that's what we have to always remember. If God has ordained something to happen, it's going to happen, regardless
Yeah.
who try to stand in the way, whether you be a Republican, Democrat, whatsoever. Uh, we cannot kick against the prick.
That's absolutely right. Um, so that's why, it's, and that's good that you said that whether the bill gets passed or not, the church is still going to do its due diligence. It still stand, because at the end of the day, the church has to still be the backbone. We should never really expect the government to be the backbone of our community because the government needs a backbone. So the church is the backbone of the community, and as long as the church can still stand, then we can still have some strength. And that's why it's important for the body, the whole entire church body to continue to stand and pull together. And I do believe that if the church does pull together and stand together, then this things like this bill would be nothing to get
That's right.
passed. It would be nothing. It'd be easy. And we'll start seeing a lot of other changes that we need to see
Mm-hmm.
in this society today. So with the church being the backbone, all of the churches need to just really pull together and make this thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah. Also, I believe the church need to come together and pray for all of our ministries. Uh,
Yes.
because one thing we can say for sure that uh, with the way times going, the people are suffering and going through, but our ministries as well can be attacked. So it's very important that we continue to pray for our ministries, that what we do will be pleasing in God's sight and not so much in man's sight.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. It's all about what we do for Christ. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
pleasing God. If you
Yes.
please God, and God, you know what? This may sound funny. If you please God, then God will please you.
Yep. Only what we do for Christ will last.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's for sure. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, yeah, exactly. And Pastor, it was really a pleasure having you on the show. I was really happy when you agreed to do our show, and we're gonna put the all of the links and everything. Any of your links, all of that will be in the description. Church link and everything be in the description of this video, and also the name of the church, like I said before, is Living God Non-Denominational Church, and you can find it on Facebook. You can find it you can find the website. So, like I said, those links will be in the description, and and that's our show. Pastor, did you have anything else you want to add?
No, just we're in a time now where we just need to continue to pray. Pray without ceasing. That's for sure.
Pray without ceasing.
Yeah.
Prayer changes things. When
Yes,
your
sir.
actions alone can't get it done, God can get it done through the faith of your prayer.
Yes, sir.
So and we are right now. If we need anything, we need prayer because this
Mm-hmm.
is some crazy times. So, yeah. So, like I said, that's our show, guys. Be sure to hit that like button, share the video, leave us a comment, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe. You watched the video this far, so you might as well subscribe. And we will see you guys on the next time. Y'all be easy.